So this controller is toast and I need to replace it. I just recently made a video on how to replace the wet end of this Aqua Flow XP2. So you can check that out if you need to fix your if your hot tub pump is leaking or it has, needs you to repair it. So I'll show you how to do that. But we're gonna show you how to take this out, rewire this, and how to replace it with a newer Gecko control panel. One thing you want to do is you want to make sure your hot tub's off, obviously. So I went over here to the sub panel and shut it off, and then I checked it with a voltage tester to make sure there wasn't any power coming into here. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push these slice valves shut. There's one down here too. You're going to push that down and lock it out. Probably still going to have some water coming through here because those slice valves I think are worn out, but in theory this control panel and the new one have about the same footprint, so I'm hoping that we can salvage some of this without having to completely do everything brand new. So be careful when you're taking stuff out, because like this is the Topside control panel. I'm going to take this out, pull that out. This is the light. No, this is the temperature sensor. And then this is the light. You're just going to start pulling these out because you need to remove all these wires. Then you're going to pull this out of here. This is the connector to the pump. I'm going to have to rewire that. This is the connector to this ozonator, or I don't know what it's called, this Garden Leisure hot tub. So now this is all disconnected, and then I'm going to unscrew here and here, and then I'm going to unscrew here, because the heater of the new control panel should connect to this pretty easily in theory. So I'm letting this just drain out because I have to be able to get to this, and I need to move this control panel out of the way to work on this, and this is draining too. So everything's just draining. So I'm just going to drain the damn hot tub and start working from there. This is the Gecko Ye-5-H4.0. I think when I was looking it up, it was the IN.YE-5 control panel, and that was to replace the control panel in my hot tub, which is the S Class. So this just came today. Ordered it online, and I'm not going to do a full unboxing because I kind of hate that. Okay, this comes with the heater. It supposedly has the same footprint as the other one does. It's a little cooler and more modern looking. When I get out there, I'm going to be disconnecting my 230 volt power that goes to my sub panel from the control panel out there, taking it through this. It has it for line 1 neutral and line 2, and obviously the ground, and then It's going to go through there, and then that's going to provide power. And the way this is a little different is it has these connectors that I will need to change out my pump motor to this kind of harness, and that's probably going to be the most difficult part of this. So when you are going to rewire something that's kind of nice to do is you take a picture of how things are wired so you know what to do later. So click, just take a picture of that. Now I know how to wire up this one. I mean, it's going to be pretty easy because it's red, white, black, green. And this is red, white, black, and green. So I'm just going to take that out, unscrew this, pull this out, and then put these in, and this will plug into the new control panel. So just like this new one, the old one has just push, you just pull these off with the needle nose and they should come right off. So red, white, black, green is the order. Then you just pull this out through here and put the new one in the same way. Okay, I got these in and tightened up this stress relief, and so that's good. I'm going to carry this over and we're going to put this back into place, and then we're going to bring out the control panel. One thing you got to remember when you get this into place is you want to put this into the ground, put this clamp into the ground for this motor so you can ground this to the control panel. Just a little extra step just to make things safer. Okay, I have that ground wire in and I have that on, so now it's pouring out the wet end. So this is ready to go. So now I'm going to need to bring the control panel out and put that into place, and hopefully it all lines up. Okay, so I started putting this one in here first just so I could make sure I had the kind of the one furthest away attached the best, and then tighten it, hand tighten it as best you can. Then you're going to swing this one down and tighten that. One thing I suggest when you're trying to tighten stuff is never tighten anything down too far, because you want as much wiggle room as possible when you kind of need to move. If you need to move this a little bit, I got this on. This is kind of a tight squeeze, but I think it's gonna work. It's being a little difficult though, so you don't want to overforce it because you don't want it to under pressure crack. So, but it's looking like it's all tightening up, so I'm assuming it all more or less has the same more or less the same footprint. So you're gonna just do everything by hand at this point, because you might need to take this apart again. So you don't want to get too involved in this and then have to come back and take it all apart. So just hand tighten everything. You know, in theory it would all leak, but for now it's fine because you might have to take it apart, because we still have power to attach, we have the Topside computer to attach, we have the light, and we also have this thermocouple. I don't even know if this one will fit into this, but we'll see. You're going to take this top mount, you're going to thread this all the way through, and And that's going to go also down on these input ports or whatever they are. Okay, this can't quite fit into this hole, but I'm still going to hook it up just to make sure it works. And it's gonna go into where it says main keypad C1, and it has an eight hole plug here, and it's going to go into this one right here. It fastens, you just push it in, and then once again it goes through this stress relief bracket so you can attach it all down. And you also have to figure out what else do you need. You need your lights. So the lights for this are right here. I think it's a little bit different layout for these lights. So these lights, this is the socket for the light here for the new light. I don't know whether I'm gonna just maybe buy another one so I don't have to redo the lights in here. So I'm not really looking forward to that, because the lights on this hot tub, believe it or not, still work after all these years. So part of me is hesitant to want to have to go through all that if I could just change the plug on this. So we'll see. I'm trying to figure out what this guy is for. There's no real directions on there other than the schematic, so I'm trying to figure out what this plug is for. I feel like it's an adapter for that, but I'm not sure. So I've decided I'm going to try to attach this to these by cutting off these, stripping them, cutting this thing off, stripping that, and then attaching them with splice connectors, and then just wrapping them with electrical tape. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to just clip these off with side cutters. Okay, and then I have these kind of strippers. I'm just gonna clip it back about that far and strip it off, clip it back about this far and strip it off. I'll show you what it's going to look like. Okay, I'm going to splice that white wire to that white wire and that black wire to that black wire. I'll show you in a second. So these you're going to want to get 16 to 14 gauge, and they just slip one end in there and one end in there, and then you crimp it. Okay, I pushed that in there on both sides. Then I'm going to put this in the middle one. That way you won't crush it too much. It's going to go in the middle one, then you're going to squeeze down on it. You can tell if it worked by if you can't pull the wires back out. Okay, so that is completed. I'm going to wrap these with electrical tape just to make sure they're somewhat safe from water. And then I'm going to feed these into this area too, because all these things have to be fed into this so they won't be just sticking out all over the place. So I'm going to plug that. Wait, let me see here. Plug that in till it snaps, and then you're gonna push this through here. I would say you don't necessarily have to have it go through the one right corresponding to it, but then you're gonna have a stress reliever clamp right here, and you just screw that in to here. So that's plugged in. The top side that goes to here is plugged in. Motor's plugged in. I don't have the ozonator plugged in because I don't really know if I care about that. And so this is a 2-speed pump. So that basically does circulation, and then it does the jets just by pushing a button. So I'm not too worried about, I just want to know if this thing works. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the power into this and fire it up to see if the controls work. I'm gonna turn it off right away. I just want to know if it comes on, if the control board is actually working. And then I'm gonna fill it up if it works. Oh, and by the way, I have this, I put that in on the ground block here and on the back of that, so that's grounded. And I'll clean up all this stuff. Just make sure that you put your cover back on this before you open up any of the slice valves, because water will start coming through here, and you don't want to get water into your control board if possible, or into your motor. Okay, now when you go to fire this up, you're gonna connect the red as line 2, white as neutral, black as line 1, and green on the bottom. So it's going to go red, white, black, green. Okay, I started with red, put that in. I put the nut on here to keep this locked in, this conduit. And then the next one is going to be white. So I'm going to push that into the next. This is actually a really nice, easy to access port here. I can't complain on this. A ratcheting screwdriver really helps out. Just don't want to tighten it down too much. You're just starting this thing, so. Okay, the next one is line 2, which is black. And that you're going to bend and put into this next port. And then just start tightening it down. And then you'll finish with green, so it's grounded. So you might have to just push these up out of the way and bend this one into place and just drop it in there as far as you can go, and then tighten it down. So we've gotten to evening time, and I'm just sitting here relaxing while I'm waiting for the hot tub to fill up. I'm not going to fill it all the way. I just need to get it enough water so we can get some in the pump and test it. I'm going to have my partner turn it on while I sit over here, just so I can have someone turn it off if something goes awry. My lovely assistant over there is ready to hello.
Hello.
My lovely assistant is going to turn it on, and then I'm going to check a couple things. First off, to make sure that the motor runs, that we don't have any major leaks, that nothing crazy happens. And then I'm going to test some of the things in here, like the lights or the motor speed. And go for it. Okay. So we immediately clicked off. So that might mean I have something wrong with the wiring. We're showing an L7. Can you turn it off? And then back on again. Okay, I'm gonna turn this on. It's the next day. I was having to do some reading on my hot tub. Realized that I need to turn this on. And get circulation going. It'll take a while, but eventually the thermometer will read the temperature, and I'm gonna set the heat to 104 over here. Here, we'll turn this around. So now it's reading the temperature going through the heater. And apparently this one didn't have to have the thermocouple that like the thermometer thing hooked up. I think it's all going through the heater now in this. So I'm still learning this. I don't know if my light is working quite yet, but I basically have gotten it where it will start it'll start reading the temperature and show it. Last time I checked, it was about 40 some degrees, and it'll start heating. I'm waiting for it to try to show that it can read the temperature though. If I hit this, it can change the speeds. That's kind of the lower speed. It's pretty quiet. And then higher speed is there. And there, it's finally reading 47 degrees. Going up to 48 degrees. And I'm gonna see if I can get it up to its max temperature of 104. We'll see how long it takes.